So I need to tell you a story about my daughter who came home last week after having an assembly that the school organized with a financial planner. Now, obviously, with the profession that I'm in, as soon as she brought this subject up, I was like, oh boy, this is a talk that we're going to have. Now, my daughter is very intuitive. She always has a lot of questions around anything that she hears in school, and she usually comes to me for my advice and to get both sides of the story so she can understand and make the best decision for herself. So she proceeds to tell me that this financial planner taught them about credit and taught them about how to start saving for their future, which sounds wonderful, right? I'm so glad that the school is providing this service to my child. However, she had some questions because she knows what I do for a living, or she at least has an inkling of what I do for a living. So we dove real deep into 401ks and IRAs and what I do, which is cash value life insurance. And I gave it to her straight. I made sure that she understood exactly what both of these sides of the spectrum looked like, what their advantages were, and those types of things. And then I let her decide what was best. So first we went into 401ks. I told her, a 401k is something that when you get a job, you are most likely going to be offered. They're going to tell you that you can put money into a 401k and not pay taxes on it until you go to retire. And then they will also match you up to a certain percent. And I asked her, I said, it sounds really good, doesn't it? And she says, yeah, Mom, that sounds great. I said, okay, so for the flip side of a 401k, you're going to be paying taxes on the money that you have put in. I said, so let's use $1 million as an example. And she goes, wow, Mom, that's a lot of money, $1 million. And I said, yeah, honey, we're going to use $1 million as an example in your 401k. If you have $1 million in your 401k, what would you think if I told you that you were going to pay so many taxes on that you were going to get maybe half of that or 75% of the money that you have saved up? What would you say to that? And my daughter, being the very blunt person that she is, says, Mom, that kind of sounds dumb. I said, you are absolutely right, sweetheart. It is dumb that you are putting money away for all of those years, and then the government is taking 25, 35, even 50%, depending on how much you take out of your 401k. So then we moved on to IRAs. Now they covered a very specific IRA called a Roth IRA. So we went into a detail about Roth IRA. And I told her, I said, so with the Roth IRA, sweetheart, you're still going to have your compound interest that you can have just like in your 401k, and your money is going to grow. And she goes, that's wonderful, Mom. I said, but you also only are able to put $6,000 a year into a Roth IRA. And that's all you can put in a year. And she goes, Mom, why is that? I said, well, that's a stipulation in the Roth IRA world. You can only put in $6,000 a year. I said, but when you go to pull that money out, because you've already paid taxes on it, you're then able to pull that money out without paying any tax, and whatever you have in that account is then yours to use, but you can only access it after 59 and a half. And my 11-year-old daughter says, well, Mom, that one sounds better than the 401k, but why do I have to wait so long to use my money? What if I want to use it earlier in life? I said, well, if you want to use it earlier in life, even if you pull from a Roth IRA, you're going to have to pay a 10% penalty to the government. And once again, my very blunt daughter says, Mom, that doesn't sound very good either. So then I moved on to what I did. So you notice that I did not automatically flow to what I do for a living or the vehicles that I do, because I want her to make the decision for herself. So I told her that the type of life insurance that I provide to people is called cash value life insurance. And she would actually be able to put money in to a cash value life insurance policy. And then we kind of got into the conversation of death benefit and those types of things, but that's something that we can get into in a whole nother video. For her, she would be able to put so much money in, however much money she wanted to, into this policy. She could then grow her cash value as large as she wanted to, and then at any given time, she could pull money out. So whether that's at 59 and a half, whether that's 50, whether that's 45, she would have access to that money. And she goes, Mom, that sounds great. So then I went a little bit further and I told her, so if you take a policy loan out of this policy, then you are actually not paying any taxes on what you're pulling out, and you're able to actually loan yourself money tax-free. And she goes, Mom, why doesn't everybody use these? I don't understand why people don't use these products. And I said, sweetheart, I'm so glad that you said that. This is exactly why I get on platforms like and talk to people, so that more people understand that these vehicles are out there. I hope this story was helpful. If my 11-year-old daughter understands these concepts and can see that paying too much in taxes is not a very good strategy, then I know everybody else in the country can understand these concepts as well. I hope this story opened your eyes to what vehicles you need to be using for your retirement.